when you can actually pay attention to that, you can observe people's behaviours, it starts to tell you a little bit about what's going on inside their minds. And either you can use that to help put them at ease, or to help give you insights. You know, if you're discussing something important or negotiating, you can check people's body language. It gives you clues. Hey, good morning, how are you? Great to see you. This is the morning walk, and today we're going to have a bit of a stroll around a place called Tin Can Bay. We're on our way to Fraser Island. Fraser Island is the world's largest sand island, which is kind of exciting. So this is like the stop-off point before we jump on the barge and head over there to do some pretty epic four-wheel driving and everything. But I've got to say, Tin Can Bay, it's kind of pretty, isn't it? In fact, one of the things that people stop in here for is to feed the dolphins. Feeding wild dolphins. I'll show you a little bit of that and have a bit of a chat and a bit of a walk around. So it's quite tidal here. Got mangrove plants and everything along the shoreline and these great mud flats and the boats that are just sitting out of the water. Hey, what'd you do with the boat? Feed the dolphins this morning. My alarm went off at 6 a.m. and it was cold. There used to be this great ad in Australia. It's one of the famous tourism ads that they had here many years ago. It was from Queensland. Queensland, beautiful one day, perfect the next. But this morning it was very much a case of Queensland, beautiful one day, fucking freezing the next. Way too cold to get out of bed. And so we just ended up having a lie in. But anyway, we did actually see something like this over in Western Australia, Monkey Mia, which is also extremely famous. You can go and stand in the water and the dolphins get fed and they come into shore. But I don't know, in some ways it was kind of underwhelming because it's just like this bastardization of a natural process. I can imagine, like, if you were the first person to hand that fish to the first wild dolphin that came up on the beach, that would have been kind of epic. But, you know, we're humans. We like to control everything. And we want to be able to do it over and over again. And so we kind of create these processes where now you can come here to Tin Can Bay at 6 o'clock in the morning or 6:30. You can join a queue of other humans. You can pay $10. Somebody hands you a fish and you hand that fish to a wild dolphin in the water. But you know, there is something to be said about the art of observation. You know, any good scientist will tell you that when you observe things, you have a chance to learn and discover how they work, to appreciate them, to discover. I mean, the natural world certainly has that. The ability to, you know, sit and observe wild dolphins where you get the opportunity to see them. Like, that's really special. Oh God, wow, on this trip we've seen some amazing stuff out in the wild. Whale sharks, sea turtles, kangaroos. There's so many amazing animals. In fact, just as we were driving in from far western Queensland, we saw wild camels. We've seen wild everything else on this trip, wild emus and echidnas and you name it. And we finally saw the wild camels. So seeing this stuff in the wild is I don't know, so unique and different. And it's kind of cool to go to a zoo too from time to time. We've certainly done those just to observe. But it's not just about the natural world. It's also about, like, observing each other. I think it's quite remarkable just how much you can read the mind of somebody else who's there with you just by paying close attention to their body language. Now, obviously, sometimes we cross our arms and everything because we're cold, but that's like closing ourselves off. When we're uncomfortable, you know, we stand and we protect ourselves. We watch the gentlemen who fold their hands across the front of them when they're standing and they feel a little bit awkward. And ladies do it too. It's very normal for us as humans to, like, close ourselves off when we're feeling uncomfortable. And so when you can actually pay attention to that, you can observe people's behaviours. It starts to tell you a little bit about what's going on inside their minds. And either you can use that to help put them at ease, or to help give you insights. You know, if you're discussing something important or negotiating, you can check people's body language. It gives you clues. The problem is, as human beings, many of us, I'm certainly guilty of this, is that rather than really paying attention to what somebody's saying and listening and wanting to respond to that, listening with the intent to understand, you know, we're kind of like listening with the intent to insert our next story into the conversation. And sure, that's part of the equation, I suppose, but sometimes you can see somebody's really upset. It's written all over their face in their body language. And literally all you need to do is to stop and say, hey, I can see that that really affects you. I can see that you're really sad right now. I can see that you're angry and frustrated right now. What's going on? It's that simple to just make an observation. And what you'll find is that a conversation will go from being about one topic to something else, or will go from like one level to a much deeper level. So it is worth observing a little bit more in life. You know, it's wonderful to be actively involved, to be feeding that fucking dolphin. But it can be just as pleasurable, just as impactful to stand back and observe. Just keep an eye out today as you're walking around, having conversations. See if you can notice what that other person in front of you is feeling. Are they excited? Are they sad? Are they angry? And just make the observation. Hey, I can see that. ... It's a beautiful day out here. Hope you're having a good one, whatever you're getting up to. I'll see you next time on the morning walk. I'm Rob Malicki, signing off from Tin Can Bay. See ya.